Let us introduce you to our latest project in Nzindong. Nzindong is a village in the mountains of western Cameroon. It is located on nearly 2,000 meters height, 250 kilometers away from Douala. Together with priest Hugo Poka, we traveled to Nzindong in November 2021. It is the end of the rainy season and the landscape is really green by now. The way itself is already kind of an adventure. The streets to Nzindong are in a bad condition after the heavy rainfalls. The village does not have any asphalted roads, only a one-wire current line which tends to power gaps and no water supply system. Rainwater is collected for washing, drinking and cooking. There are some hand-driven wells in Nzindong, but they run dry during the dry season and need lots of maintenance. We want to improve that situation. The aim of our project is to install a water supply system. Therefore, we planned the drilling of a new well, the installation of an electric, solar-driven pump, and more than 1 kilometer of pipeworks to bring water directly to the school, the hospital, the church, the priest's house, and to 2 public washing places. Together with the local technicians, we discussed the project and scheduled the milestones for the next weeks. Our first milestone is the drilling of a new well with more than 70 meters depth. This is done by a local company from Douala. After 3 days of drilling, the new borehole is finished. The first water is for sure still dirty because of sand and dust from the drilling, so pressure is applied until the water is clear. Our first milestone was reached on the 22nd of October, nearly 2 weeks before we arrived in Nzindong. The next critical step was the protection of the well, so that we then can install the pump control and the pipeworks. For this purpose, we constructed a little house around our well. It is made with a special concrete and covered by a steel lid. The house will later also keep the electrical control unit of the pump, therefore it has to be watertight. Later, the water pipes and the cable for the power supply will enter the house under the surface. After the house was finished, we finally cut the pipe of the borehole to the desired length. The protection of the well was finished on the 11th of November. The next milestone to reach is the installation of the electrical pump. The pump and the electrical control unit were purchased and pre-installed in Germany and then shipped to Cameroon. The pump is turned on and off automatically by a level sensor within the water tank, and it is protected by a dry running sensor within the well. Before we let the pump down into the well, we had to attach it to 63 meters of pipe, so that we needed lots of people carrying the whole thing to the borehole. Luckily, the kids of Nzindong were there to help.
Like this.
Okay.
6 meters.
Ici, pas la colle, le téléphone. Non, le téléphone, on n'a pas besoin ici. Ok. Ça, c'est un raccord avec le son. D'accord.
You are stronger than me.
Give
him one.
With joint forces, we managed to bring the pump into the well. It is now on 60 meters depth and connected to a pipe leading to the water tank. Hervé Ngawa, an engineer from Cameroon, installed the electrical control. The installation of the pump was finished on the 12th of November. To supply electricity to the pump, the installation of the solar system was the next milestone within this project. The solar panels were installed by Hervé before our arrival. They are now located on the roof of the church. The batteries and the inverter have been placed in the sacristy. The 12 solar panels supply the pump as first priority, while surplus energy is stored in the 4 batteries when the pump is not running. If the solar power is not enough to operate the pump, the batteries jump in. We will increase the battery capacity to 8 batteries for the rainy season. Due to its instability, the land current was not connected to avoid damage of the new system. The construction and programming of the solar system was finally finished on the 12th of November. The pump is now ready to go, so the next milestone to reach is the installation of the pipeworks. The people of Nzindong started to dig trenches for the pipes already in October, since we want to lay all pipes 50 to 80 centimeters under the surface to protect them against heat and damage. We finished the last parts of the trenches as late as possible, since we did not want to block the streets longer as necessary. In total, more than 1.2 kilometers of trenches had to be done, starting on the one side of the village at the hospital of Nzindong, leading to the church where the water tank will be installed, and from there to the primary school and all the way down to the well. We had more than 1 kilometer DN40 pipe for the main lines and several hundred meters of DN25 pipes to connect all the taps and the washing places. Luckily, there was enough pipe left for a bit of music in the end. On the 18th of November, all pipes were connected. Meanwhile, we already started to work on our 6th milestone, which was the connection and first filling of the water tank. Before we placed the tank on its pedestal, we had to drill the holes for all water inlets and outlets, and we also disinfected the inside of the tank with biological disinfectant spray. At the pedestal, we checked whether water reaches there before we connected the tank.
Take care of the connectors.
So, now.
Phew.
Le connecteur c'est par où?
C'est ici en haut.
Ok, c'est.
The tank was filled with water for the first time on the 13th of November. We flushed the tank several times before we connected the pipes towards water taps and washing places. This led us directly to the next milestone, clean water on all taps. Before we achieved this, we had to repair the old washing place and build the new one at the hospital. But finally, we had water on all desired places. One public washing place was also constructed close to the hospital, and the hospital itself was connected to the water supply. This is an important aspect, since nearly 30% of the patients going to the hospital suffer from waterborne diseases. The water analytics proved that the water is good mineral water without detectable pesticides, heavy metals or bacteria. This milestone was achieved on the 19th of November, which was the day that the complete system was running. The last part of our project was reserved for training. We handed the system over to 2 technicians from Nzindong, which were taught how to operate and maintain the system and how to repair smaller issues themselves. Apart from the technical training, we also went to the primary school to do a lesson on water cycle, waterborne diseases and the protection of water from contamination. We hope that the new system, which brings clean water to the people, will in future allow a decrease of waterborne diseases in Nzindong.
Quand l'eau sale reste dans l'espace du forage, par exemple, cette eau sale-là même rentre encore dans le sol.
On the 23rd of November, this final milestone was reached and our project in Nzindong was successfully finished. We want to thank the whole team in Germany and Cameroon. A special thanks goes to all our supporters in Germany who made this project possible with their donations, and to Hervé Ngawa and his team, and to Hugo Poka in Cameroon for the support during the implementation phase.